Play. Yes, well. Back for our second episode of 2025. Very excited to be back. Myself, Will Schofield, and our good friend, Mark Reddings. I honestly can't look at you. Like, I can't because this show will just be a debaucherous debacle. I can't look at you. What have you done? What have you done? Why are you wearing a hat? What have you done? Welcome to the show, Skeeter.
Thanks, Schoey. You know, you can fat shame me. You can all shame me. No, what happened was a couple of nights ago.
What's happened?
No, a couple of nights ago, my wife said,
Victoria,
got the greys happening there. Put a little bit of colour in it. It went a fraction dark, and so it's just got a bit darker than I like. It's like with less hair, Elvis Presley sort of colour back in the 70s. So it's a bit embarrassing. It's a bit, but it's only the side bits. But you know, for imbeciles, those sorts of things, and with small peeny brains, it does cause mirth, and that's clearly what's happened to you.
Take that off. Just take that off. Take it off. Take it off for just 5 seconds. Take it off and give it.
It's only here, you numbnut, but yeah, anyway.
What have you done?
Vic said, don't go out in public. I said, no, I'm going to go out in public, but I'm going to...
Not only have you gone out in public, we took our season preview photos yesterday, so they'll be used all year.
Oh, I don't really care. I actually don't care.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm honestly not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the situation that I still haven't looked at yet, by the way.
Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep up, because I'm almost 55 next month, trying to keep up with the who's 35, looks young, looks handsome.
No, don't though.
I'm trying to keep up with you.
I think you look good with grey hair.
No, I
don't understand the logic.
I think what the plan was just to soften it a bit. Instead of that, I said, I've gone from that to like a black alley cat.
You're like a Lego character.
There's a couple of media personalities locally. I won't bring their names.
Can I just have one more look?
There.
What's that? Oh, mate. You actually remind me of my dad's like black hair. Mate, you look... Can I just say to you? This is out of the care of my heart. You look good, mate. I don't understand why you thought you need to do the sides.
Well, because when you've got females chirping and you say...
Don't worry about the females. What about the Schoey? Don't worry about
we spent far too long talking about my coloured sideburns, which are not going to be black ever again. They'll be grey within a week or so.
Good.
But it was only just to level it out a bit. Anyway, it went pear-shaped. I'll sack my wife from that duty. And
Victoria will hear this. And
she'll blame me for going and buying the wrong product, probably, anyway.
Well, look, Skate, I just want to finish and say, I think you look good. You don't need to dye the hair.
It wasn't a dye. It was just the sides, but it did go pear-shaped.
This is the first time you've ever worn a hat on this show.
I'm casual. I'm going out for this. So, but I just also didn't want to cop stick for about 45 minutes and not talk footy. We're here to talk about something meaningful, but again, you go down the rabbit hole.
I'm sorry, everybody. It just completely caught me off guard yesterday.
Some blokes have done stupid things. I mean, they've got tattoos, which they probably regret. Some people, which is for life, by the way. Some people have got earrings who look completely stupid, in my opinion.
Don't worry. I'm not having to go.
No. I think I laugh because at least in 2 weeks and hopefully less, it'll fade. Anyway, it was just veering outside my lane, and I apologise to you.
No, don't apologise. It's bloody brilliant. All right, ladies and gentlemen, okay, get that out of the way. I promise I won't. I can't promise I won't, but I'll try. I promise I'll try not to talk about it again. Will Schofield, Mark Redding, Shelter FootyCast. Very excited to be here with you. Brought to you by Shelter, of course. Skeet, very exciting off the top of the show. Last couple of years we've been doing separate footy tipping competitions, but I thought this year, let's bring it all together. Very excited to announce we've got the Shelter footy tipping for 2025 with BackChat. So it's Shelter, it's BackChat, all together. Prizes galore, would you believe, Skeeter? So if you want to join a footy tipping comp that rewards you for being an absolute legend, this is the one to do it. So to join it, before I tell you what the prizes are, you've got to be a patron of Shelter or BackChat. But you got to be a patron of Shelter. So you can do that very easily. Go to shelterfootycast.com.au, sign up as a patron. It's all there. It'll cost you $10 a month. That's it. Right, to win any of these prizes, you're going to be a patron, and that's where you get the code to join. So you can do that right now. Prizes, Skeeter, you ask. Is that what you've asked?
Are there any weekly prizes or just the end of the year?
Weekly prizes, Skeeter. Every week we'll be giving away a carton of shelter to the top tipper, so you can get a carton of your favourite shelters, whatever you like, Skeeter. You want the XPAs. I know you like a little bit.
So you're looking at probably, I mean, how many people do you think will be in the footy team?
I'm not sure just yet.
Give us have a guesstimate. You reckon 1,000, 500?
It'd be great to have 1,000 people in there.
Okay.
Oh, we might, we might up the prize. BackChat might put a bit of stuff in there so you can win a carton of shelter and some BackChat merch every single week. Then the prize at the end of it, Skeet. If you could just tell me how excited you are while I pull this up.
Yeah, right? I am. I'm also trying to work out on a weekly prize basis. Say Jaden picks 8, you pick 8, I pick 8 as the top tipsters of the round.
Yes.
It is done by the margin. Is that it?
I was going to say, have you ever done a tipping competition?
Yeah, I do.
Do you understand why you do the margin?
Yeah, I do.
That is why.
I do understand
That's
that.
the reason.
But I don't actually, apart from a couple that I'm involved with, I don't generally go in footy tipping.
So we're giving a carton of shelter away, plus BackChat merch, plus shelter merch every week, but the end of year, Skeeter. Right? So last year we gave away $2,000 for the winner of the tipping comp.
Dude, that's good.
Pretty good. And we've promised that we're going to do better.
We're going to go somewhere with them?
Best of Busselton experience for the winner for 2 people. 2 nights at the Hilton in Busselton.
I stayed there. Yeah, it's good.
Well, you can win this. You can win this because you and I will be doing our tips.
Would have thought it'd be applicable or justifiable that I win it, but anyway.
Lunch, dinner, coffee, breakfast, all covered at shelter. $500 venue voucher for the stay. Thank you very much for coming. Brewery tour. You can learn how to make the beers, which is very good. You've made beers before. We're going to throw in a round of golf, right, at the Par 3 in Busselton. We're going to get you out in the jetty train and underwater observatory experience at the Busso jetty. So it's just a big Busselton experience. Plus $1,000 cash.
Is that it?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying because as long as there's no plane flight involved for those, they'd be pretty happy because, gee, that was fun.
So there we go. I will say, I dare say we're going to be adding more to this tipping comp as we go, but that's about what we've got off the top. If you want to join, head to shelterfootycast.com.au, sign up as a patron, find the code, and you'll be ready to go. Entries coming in thick and fast. Happy with that, Skeet?
I'm wrapped with that.
All right, Will Schofield, Elvis Presley, Shelter FootyCast. Very good.
It's actually a New York Yankees hat, which I bought in New York.
So it looks good. Yeah, I don't know which black are your hat or your hair. Now, Jaden found that funny. All right.
Is he still got his tattoo? Yeah, he has. So that's last of the summer. Good to see.
Number 1 draft pick, Sam Lalor. And let's get this right, Skater, because you know I have no idea.
Well, it's Lalor. And there's a Peter Lalor, who is a renowned cricket journalist.
Yes.
And if you look at it, and first instinct is to say, Layla.
I said Layla first time, and then Paps came over the top of me and said Lord. I said, I'm just going to defer to Adam Papaleo. So Sam
so you defer to him, not me?
Sometimes I defer to you. I actually do ask you how to say names because I have no idea.
Yeah, no, well, and you know what it is? It's a natural thing. What you do is pretty normal. And it's just the way it's spelt, but the pronunciation is different. But
that's not what we're talking about. Sam Lalor, the number 1 draft pick, who was very exciting to watch, I must say. Called the game on Monday, West Coast Richmond. He was probably their best player, at least one of them. He had 4 shots on goal, I think 2 goals, a couple out in the full, but he was in and about it, good inside, went forward, kicked some goals. Late in the game, this is the last thing that happened in the game. Basically, he was in a contest in his forward line. Saw it happen, couldn't quite see if it was shoulder or if his knees had buckled. Thought it was a concussion, but it's now been revealed that he's got a broken jaw following this one. Disappointing.
Not a major, like you think of broken jaw, you think it's going back in time, they're quite severe. It doesn't mean it's not a serious injury, but I don't think it's as bad as what the term sounds like. It could be 2 to 3 months.
He may he may be available for round 1.
Exactly. So it's just maybe just a crack, but yeah, not great. Obviously, Reuben Ginbey. This investigation has gone longer. It's the process. I know you said they're doing each game and then the weekend they'll put it out. That's way too long.
So this is tribunal you're talking about?
Well, just MRO, yeah,
mate. There is no way. I've seen a lot of and experienced and well-respected footy types saying that this should be looked at and we need it out of the game and suspended it and pushed him out of the contest. From what I saw, and I'd like to think I'm not West Coast biased, Reuben Ginbey, backman, had Sandy Brock, who we're going to speak about in a little bit, coming back to take an intercept mark. As a backman and a teammate, your first priority in that position, if you're Reuben Ginbey, is to protect your teammate. If you're locked into an opponent, like Ginbey was on Lalor, you're trying to get him out of the way. From how I've seen it and watched it on replay, he's trying to push Lalor forward, out of the way. Sandy Brock comes through, untouched, takes the mark. I've made a career out of not touching the footy and protecting my teammates in that situation. Tom Barris, Jeremy McGovern, Darren Glass, Eric McKenzie. These guys used to come back, Bo Waters, fearless with the flight of the ball. And if you have a man near you, you need to keep him out of the way. Otherwise, your teammate gets smashed. And then not only is the coach calling you out, you feel like shit because you let your teammate get smashed and you're not doing your job. So for people to be calling that we need this out of the game, I just think, one, overreaction, two, some sort of Victorian bias, which we're very used to seeing. I just saw, I couldn't believe the chat around this needs to be out of the game. What does? Protecting your teammate.
Let me just ask you this
pushed
question.
him in to hurt him.
Let me ask you this question. If Lawler's not injured, which is the hypothetical, which he did get injured, if he wasn't injured, was it a free kick? Was it against Ginbey for the push? I mean,
No.
that's what I'm saying. I don't even think it was even be looked at.
This is going to take us back to the head high stuff. We're no doubt going to see the pinning of the arms. If the player doesn't get hurt, is it the action or is it the outcome? So the carry-on's over the outcome. But
Absolutely.
the action, which is what I'm talking about, there's nothing to see here.
It happens
It happens
so
1,000 times a game.
Yeah, I agree.
So I couldn't believe that. But with all that said, Sam Lalor looks like a gun.
Yes.
Richmond
Don't look like guns.
No. Look, they had Camden McIntosh, who's played over 150 games. They had Ross, who's played 60 to 70. And then they didn't have a player over 50 games of AFL. So,
I think we've got to get used to the fact that Richmond, and they're going to go through some awful pain in the next year or two, but even if they finish bottom two again this year, they're going to get another batch of, it might be one of the quick turnarounds. In fact, it probably will happen quicker than what the West Coast Eagles, you think of what they've gone through and the number of high draft picks that Richmond have got. It's not going to be pretty, I don't think, in the short term, but I think they're loading up, and it's the way to go to get themselves back to a position of being competitive by getting these high draft picks, getting games into them, obviously nurturing them along the way. But I think the Tigers are probably the blueprint, albeit there's going to be some awful smackings last year and now this year, of how to rebuild your list after premiership success.
So injury to Sam Lalor. We've seen a few injuries in the past few weeks. Is preseason, preseason games, do we need more of them? Or
No.
we need less?
I don't think we need
What
more.
we have is right.
I think there was a time we were having 3 or 4 pracky games. This is from a observer. You know more from a playing perspective how many you need. I would have thought a couple of matches maximum against opposition. I know a lot of clubs have got intra-clubs this weekend, or even there's a round robin, I think, between
I saw
the
that.
Swans and
Is it Swans, Brisbane and Gold Coast?
Gold
'Cause
Coast.
the one
Gold
I
Coast,
saw, Gold Coast are playing the
Brisbane.
reserves of Brisbane. as
Gold
their
Coast, Brisbane, and maybe Collingwood. Anyway, there's some round robin stuff happening. There's some intra-clubs this weekend. I think a couple of pre-season matches suffices. You might disagree, but how many more do you need to get yourself ready when you do match sim as well?
So in my experience, which is from someone who was a fringe player for most of their career, never really by round one was I certain I was going to get a game. This period of time right now is the most important, and I certainly didn't always get it right. For young players, for guys trying to get, I'd say at every club there's 14 players. Doesn't matter what happens in the preseason, they're playing. Jeremy McGovern, if he's fit, he plays. Oscar Allen, fit, he plays.
Whereas someone like Bo Allen, who's new to the system, he'd want to, I guess, play 2-3 games to...
Sometimes there's only so much you can show against your own teammates, and there's only so much effort you can give. Like, you're not going to be able to go at 110%.
In February.
Yes, against your own teammates. Certainly what I found was once the real stuff started, like I've spoken about my history, I think I played 4 round ones in my whole career, but I played 200 games. So once the real stuff started, it changes. Players can train really well and have great pre-seasons and be training the house down and setting the world on fire, but then the games start, real games, and we go, right, they're not a great decision maker under pressure. They're actually not that clean when it goes from 80% to 100%. And there's been players forever that are like that. And yes, so to answer the question, I do think it's too short. I don't know exactly how to fix it. However, I thought one idea could be, Skeet, is to use at least one round to have all of these Victorian clubs that don't have to travel, get them over to Western Australia. Get Collingwood to play West Coast. Get Carlton to play Fremantle. Get these clubs that aren't leaving their state during the year, if we're talking about equalisation, get them over to play a practice game. I'm sure they'd be happier with that than having to travel more during the year, but at least it gives a 1 week disadvantage, if you want to call it, to that side, but it also allows teams to play each other.
Yeah, well, Melbourne's coming over here to play Fremantle next week.
Yep.
Obviously, North Melbourne.
Richmond's here.
There's a bit of a rehearsal, dress rehearsal for what they're going to do during the year. Look, from your perspective, players, I've got no issue with looking for more games. I want less.
Yeah, fans, media.
No, but I think fans love to see their team in pre-season. To be totally honest, because we look at so much footy, it's the old story. I just want to, get into round one. The other stuff is not meaningless, but we know that results in pre-season, even going back to what we saw with the Dockers against the All-Stars, your premiership year getting beaten by 100 points by the Dockers. I mean, it's got some element of benefit as an outsider, more so for the players and the coaching staff, great. But, I mean, the less the better for me. I'd rather see 4 premiership points.
Very good. Skeeter, something that's been dominating the airwaves a little bit over the last few days is Fox Footy V7 this year. So it is a new broadcast deal this year. There are some changes to both how you consume it nationally and locally. Certainly here in Perth, 7 locally is putting teams together. Realistically, the way I see it, it's more of a head-to-head now than it ever has been. Fox Footy V7, Fox Footy's got rights to show exclusive games that 7 won't be able to use, whereas in the past, personally, sometimes people think I work for Channel 7 because Channel 7 will take the Fox feed, Fox has taken the 7 feed. Like people ask, what's it like to work, with James Brayshaw and BT? So I've never met them or don't know anything about it because there's been a bit of a mixture of what feeds are coming through this year. Fox Footy will call every game live with their own team, which has never been done before, all 9 games. And Channel 7 has the opportunity to do so as well, whether it locally or nationally. So there's a lot of interesting talking points here, one of which is Saturday, if you're Melbourne or Tasmania, and for the first 8 rounds here in Western Australia, the only place to watch footy live is on KO or Fox Footy. It's an exclusive Super Saturday, all day. Fox Footy are leaning pretty heavily into it, and full disclosure, I'm a Fox Footy employee. I just think it's an interesting talking point that people are going to change the way they're watching footy this year, and they've probably got a little bit more choice than they have in the past. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's great to have that option. For instance, on a Friday night, if you've got Fox or KO, you can watch the designated commentary team, or you can watch it on free-to-air.
That hasn't been the case in the past,
no,
just to clarify.
No, it's the first time. It's happened in the NRL for quite a while. That's been just par for course, and that won't, I don't think, like, it might change some habits, but end of the day, yeah, if you're prepared to pay the money for Fox, be it with KO or Foxtel or whatever, and get that, absolutely. There's going to be elements of the community on Saturdays that they want their free-to-air footy because either they can't afford it, for a range of reasons, obviously the elderly maybe so. But yeah, I think it's a way of sport moving forward. I don't think it's 7 versus Fox. Obviously there's a lot more competitiveness in the number of shows that are going to happen during the week. 7's really gone hard on acquiring some talent to make sure they match, if not go ahead of Fox in that area. Fox, conversely, are going to have their fingerprints over all of Saturday and throughout the weekend. They've paid the big dollars and therefore they get the rewards for it. So I think if you look at the EPL, you look at NFL, the big sporting codes around the world, free-to-air is diminishing in the ability to access sport. You see it in cricket with the ICC World Championships recently. That was on a streaming provider. Yeah, so it's certainly the free-to-air component, and it's been protected, the siphoning, anti-siphoning for the grand final and big events. I think it's Anzac Day. There's certainly big events for the AFL that are protected by anti-siphoning. But yeah, gives people choice. And look, if you don't like Friday night with JB and Alison Nicholson, I think Alice is one of the rising stars in calling on the 7 network. You go and listen to Hutto, who's done such a great job for a long time, and Gerard gets his first chance in TV calling for Fox, having done obviously a lot of radio with the ABC and SEN. So I think it just gives people choice, albeit you've got to be able to pay for that choice if you want to watch it on a Saturday or go to a pub, etc. So yeah, I don't think there's any downside. Again, financially for some, possibly, but if you're prepared to spend money, you'll be able to watch everything.
I agree with everything you said, other than it's not competition. It's absolutely 7v Fox Footy. I don't think you can argue against it.
We're not for what is between the two networks, but
but that's they're the only two calling, and people are going to be making the choice. Do I watch 7 or do I watch Fox Footy? Given that you work for 7 and I work for Fox Footy, I think it's difficult for you and I to pick this apart. However, if you haven't seen on socials and you're just hearing for the first time, this is the lineups that they're going up against each other, which is why it's competition, to be honest, Skeeter. Thursday night, Brian Taylor and Hamish McLaughlin calling as play-by-play with Kane Corns, new to Channel 7. I think he's one of the best operators in the business, and Luke Hodge as special comments experts. Nick Rewalt floating around there, I see. Nick's back. There we go. And which Nick was with Fox Footy, I believe.
You don't believe he was with Fox Footy.
Versus Mark Howard and Matt Hill going play-by-play.
Matt Hill, a race caller, yep.
That's correct. And don't start.
No, he's a race caller. Fine race caller.
David King and Jack Rewalt special comments. So that's the head-to-head on the Thursday night. Friday night footy is James Brayshaw and Alistair Nicholson calling for Channel 7. People may have seen Bruce McAvaney is back. Just so we know, Bruce isn't commentating. There's a nice little caveat in there, nice little asterisk. Bruce McAvaney is back hosting the footy, hosting and commentating different things.
And you know what? He's still a very good host, and he's...
Oh, it's a great host. If people are tuning in to watch the footy, for a host, I'm not sure that's going to be happening. Dale Thomas and Matt Richardson will be the special comments on Channel 7 versus the Friday night team at Fox Footy. Anthony Hudson and Jarrett Waitley calling play-by-play with Gary Lyon, Jason Dunstall, Jonathan Brown, Nathan Buckley and Jordan Lewis on special comments. So that's the head-to-heads. Saturday is exclusively Fox in Victoria all year round, and definitely the first 8 weeks here in Western Australia. So I think it's an interesting watch. It's the first time that really this has happened over the last 10 years or so.
No, first time ever. This is it's good. I mean, for the industry, it's good to have the competition level, as you say. 7 have certainly tried to go toe-to-toe with Fox. I think Fox, you'd be stupid to say that they don't have a star-studded lineup with the names they have, because they're obviously doing every game during the course of the weekend. So they're going to have a more pulling power. I guess where 7 has come to the party, Chris Jones and those in charge at 7 have said, okay, well, we need to beef up our Monday to Thursday or Sunday to Thursday.
A lot more shows happening.
Absolutely.
Across both, and I like that.
Yeah, and look, I'll be honest, I probably won't watch many from either Fox
not even Code
or 7.
You're not going to sit down the Code?
To be honest with you, and look, you and I both, I've been doing a lot of work on radio with 6PR this year.
You're the busiest man in media.
And doing Waffle on Saturday night. So
Waffle Saturday night?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's no secret with that. So my Saturday nights are kaput. So I
didn't know you're doing that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You're the biggest, hardest working man in Western Australia.
Well, that's what I decided to get.
Basil, and now it's Mark.
That's why I'm just going to make sure I get the signage the right colour. No, it's great though. I know you love your Fox, and I think Fox do a terrific job, a really good job at covering footy. Absolutely. But as I said, a lot of people have Fox or Code, but those that can still sit home on a Friday night and just watch it on free to air. It's important you do have that element still.
Competition is good for fans.
Choice is good.
Yeah, correct.
And so
why are you turning down the competition? Why do you keep taking me away from competition? They're competing, mate.
Of course they're competing, but what you're doing is you're giving options, and that's the bottom line. I mean, there'll be callers I don't like on Fox, and callers that you don't like on 7, and vice versa. I mean, you're not going to love every commentator, and even on socials, hearing Bruce McAvaney back, some positive, negative, some saying bring Dennis Cometti back. Well, Den's not coming back.
Den's not coming back.
Den's not coming back. I mean, we love Den. He's done we wish him well, and we love Den, but he ain't coming back. And we have to realise that there's a new generation coming through. Some, I think, really have been embraced by the public. Some are polarising. That's BT's polarising. That's the bottom line. Some love him, some dislike him,
and that's okay.
I think the bottom line also with that is a lot of it comes from, if you like the Triple M call, then you're sort of more inclined to like JB and BT and maybe Howie. So, but yeah, it's an acquired taste whether you're into that or you like the old school of, Alison Nicholson. From my point of view, is a young guy coming through. I think it does a really good job, and it's the flavour that you like as a commentator. So that's all you can put it down to.
I'll be watching Fox Footy. Will Schofield, Mark Reddings, shout out FootyCast.
It's nice of you to just add your,
Well, you can
go to your
We're
pay
back
packet.
on. We haven't turned it off.
No, that's
Well,
fine.
who are you going to be watching?
No, I'll be watching a bit of both because I think there are lineups and there are matches that Seven will do better than Fox and vice versa.
So you have them, both on and you'll be flicking between the two?
No, not really. But
So you'll choose one?
Oh, yeah, I'll choose one. And it might be Fox on one night, might be Seven on the other. I think a lot of people, if you've got that choice, that's the beauty. I know you're paid to just watch one one brand, but you can get outside your lane.
So, okay, well, who are you watching Friday night?
Initially, I'll definitely watch Fox to see how it goes, 100%. But whether
it's better, maybe.
Well, you don't know that. How do you know it's better on Friday night?
That's a good point.
You're actually just talking shite at the moment until you look and judge. And I know you want to keep the paychecks coming in, but just let's take a breath. And I'm telling you, both will be pretty reasonable coverages.
Very good. There you go. Do you want me to sting it again?
No,
you got the last word.
No, I'm just saying. I know you're a Fox man, and I'm more leaning towards Seven, but we can still live it together.
Very balanced argument from you there, Scott.
Well, I think it was
nice.
Just in case I get sick, get a chance to down to Fox, down the track.
Yeah, so you're having a crack at me.
Lee Carlson and all the team.
You're keeping all open options.
I've had to do that in the last few years. I try and love everyone. It's a broad church.
Very good. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The mind of Mark Reddings. Okay, Skeeter, just a couple of little West Coast and a few updates across the competition. SSP signings. So these are free list spots that are on a couple of teams. I would like to say off the top here, I could be wrong, which wouldn't surprise you, would it, Skate?
But you give guarantees out on a daily basis, so
I can give those out. Actually, we might do that a little later on. I'll give you some guarantees. Skate. It is my understanding that West Coast has 2 list spots.
That's what I understand as well.
And so no one's talking about it. People are saying, so Sandy Brock's been added to the list, which I think is terrific. Played with him in 2021 at Peel Thunder. He's a good operator. He actually flew from Darwin when he was playing footy there, came in, got drafted to Gold Coast, been there for 3 years, didn't get the opportunities there. 22 years old, key defender. West Coast is the perfect spot for him.
Yeah. We spoke to him last night on radio, and Palmerston, as you said, up in the NT. So he's a bit of a footy journeyman, as they say, but he's still young enough, and he's been learning from McGovern and a few of the boys at the Eagles, and Jake Waterman, having played against him at training, and Oscar Allen. So I don't know enough about him to give him an endorsement. You do.
He's quick. He's a left footer. He runs. He jumps. He intercepts marks. He has all attributes. He's strong. He could be very good. We don't know that. We haven't seen him, develop. But I think he could be one of those guys that is definitely worth a throw.
And absolutely, when you talk about ruckman, competing, just being able to bring the ball to ground. I mean, he doesn't have to be a superstar.
But he's not a ruckman. He's a defender.
No, I said just like you said ruckman, just have to compete hard contest.
Right.
Like a defender in that same role. He doesn't have to be a Jay McGovern. He just has to just halve contest, neutralise. So have you got some run? Doesn't have to be the star of the back line. Just has to maybe shut down a forward. If that's his role and he can do it, then happy days.
So I think West Coast have another lift spot, and the period doesn't end till Friday. So I think West Coast could add someone else. I think they were really keen on Jack Henderson, who was the young man that came over here and played in the practice match, best on ground in the VFL. I've spoken about him on this show for Werribee last year. Not to be confused with Dom Brew, who was his captain, who got emotional and he hasn't been picked up. But someone like a Dom Brew, I mean, they've lost Dom Sheed for the season. It would make sense for them to add a midfielder.
Can I just stop you there? I was about to. It's a good segue. Dom Sheed. Now, I've spoke to him. You probably have. My gut feeling is that given he's done the knee, he's coming out of contract at the end of this year. He's had obviously injuries or issues going back in the last 2 or 3 years. Although I believe his pre-season, this heading up to the knee, was really good. Mm-hmm. My gut feeling was that he was more likely to retire than not. Your mail is completely different, which I have to respect because you are far closer to the situation.
Well, I don't think he's. No, I don't think he certainly hasn't retired.
No, I'm saying I feel that my gut feeling was that he's on the cusp, or would be on the cusp of retirement, or saying no?
He's in the last year of his contract. I think he's certainly not a dumb man, Dom. He would understand the nature of it. I think if the club were to make that decision, it'd be smart to let him know earlier than later.
Yeah, so why isn't that?
I don't think
too premature.
They're not going to make that call now.
So when do you make it then? In all seriousness,
when they need to, which is why would you do it now? What would be the point? He's on the long-term injury list, so that's as good as delisting him in terms of they've got a list spot.
Yeah. So my point to you is he hasn't officially retired yet. So that in that sense, you believe, given that if that's the case, he is looking to do the rehab and play again next year. Is that what you think?
Well, absolutely. And why wouldn't you? I mean, he's going to get paid. He's contracted this year.
Yes.
So why would you go? Oh, mate, that's enough. You don't even bother. You're an elite athlete. You've played at the highest level. He's proven he's a good AFL player. Like, you're going to give yourself every opportunity. That might mean by August, September, October that done and dusted. Knee's not responding. Can't get anywhere near it, but. It could also, we've seen players come and have careers after doing their knee.
No, but in these circumstances with Dom, it just felt like, and it's great if he's going to push on.
Not a great time to do it.
No, exactly.
It hasn't been the best lead up in the last 3 years, and he knows that too.
Yeah.
There's just no point in
making a hasty decision.
No, because they've done that by putting him on the long term. They've got Sandy Brock, which, again, I think they had one, and now they've got two. It was my understanding that it was out of Jack Henderson, Sandy Brock and James Van Ness. They haven't brought James Van Ness on. Jack Henderson, poached by Melbourne. Jack Henderson was on the phone to Simon Goodman within 20 minutes of that practice game finishing. So he's on the phone, very astute Simon. Hey, mate, we want you. Jack Henderson being from that way of the world, I think has probably made a better decision, be around family. Very difficult to fly across the country, not get paid a lot of money to be on a list with no guarantees whatsoever.
And no safety blanket in terms of family. So it's a totally understandable decision.
Correct. So he's there. Isaiah Dudley added to Fremantle's list. There's been a little bit of talk around this related to Kozzie Pickett, I believe.
Hasn't Kozzie Pickett become the most talked about Melbourne player coming to Fremantle in 12 months? I don't think there's been any player. I mean, Chad Warner will be spoken about at length about him returning home to play with, say, the Eagles. But Kozzie Pickett, it almost feels like, barring a disaster, he's going to request to come home and play at Freo.
We don't need to be future all-telling oracles to know when someone's speaking about a situation like this and whether or not they're thinking about it. We saw Kozzie Pickett interviewed, and that's, again, I think you and I preach this the same thing. I think a bit of honesty, I'm not going to rip Kozzie Pickett apart because he's been asked a question in a press conference and by several journos, tried his talk his way out of it and hasn't been really able to do it because clearly he's thinking about it. I don't see the issue in that. I mean, the footy's just going that way, and I think the same for Chad Warner. Look, okay, he could be buying investment properties in Western Australia. He's bought a house here. He's clearly putting that up. And that doesn't mean Sydney can't keep him. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Someone quoted me yesterday saying it's a lock. I think if he leaves Sydney, it's a lock he comes to West Coast. But it's not a lock he leaves Sydney.
No, and this year with Dean Cox could be a year where he goes, you know what? I've got a new contract. I'm happily ensconced in Sydney. So yeah, you're right. There's a bit to play out. But if you were to say which way he's likely to head in 12 months, you'd be leaning more home than staying. But that's just us from what we've seen.
If I had to say it right now, Chad Warner's playing for West Coast and Kozzie Pickett's playing for Freo next year. But that's not the lock. Another quick little for West Coast fans, just my highlights, takeaways. I thought they played a quick game style, very different to Richmond. Every time Richmond got the ball, they stopped, they took steps off the mark. Every player, they never looked to play on. West Coast were looking to go, play on at multiple occasions. However, that impacted by the opposition they're playing against.
So can you just explain for the last two years, for instance, their style is significantly different to what we have seen or attempted. I remember Adam Simpson going back after they were beaten, might have been last year or even the year before, saying we want to try and get quicker ball movement.
They've been trying to play quick for 2 years and haven't been able to execute. Their fundamental skills have been not good enough. Their decision-making has been not good enough. And they, because of that, were unable to get proper buy-in to the way they wanted to play. I don't think the way they played in the practice match is that different to how Simo was trying to get them to play, but they weren't doing it well. They did it well against Richmond because the pressure wasn't there. So we will learn a lot more against better opposition. and we'll see. But that's the way they're going to try and play again. The thing with playing quick and wanting to play on it and move the ball fast, if you're doing that as a team, the whole team's going. Right, Reuben, Ginbey gets the ball. We know he's going to take off. We saw it do it several times. If you don't get the fundamentals of your footy right, it's a lot harder to defend behind.
Oh, once you turn it over under those circumstances.
So that has been the issue for West Coast.
Oh, absolutely.
Scores from turnover. So if they can't fix the fundamental skills and the decision-making, then they're going to be a poor side again.
But even if they can be 25, 30% better in that department, I mean, as you know, guys like McGovern and Edwards, etc., their life becomes so much easier by not having to defend so much on turnover, because once that happens, you basically look stupid going the other way, don't you?
Interesting. They look like they've got a bit of depth at small forward now, with Brockman kicking 3 goals. Long is back from injury.
Yeah,
Petrocelli looks like clean.
Young man, I'm going to just find out the exact pronunciation of Tyrell.
I don't know the first, but Dewar.
Yeah, that's definitely right.
Dewar.
Because I've got a contact who said from Kalgoorlie that Dewar was mentioned.
That's his nickname. Yeah. As almost like
But that was what I was told in all seriousness. So if it's Dewar, which I've called him Dewar and everyone has, before round 1, I want to make sure that...
What do you like about him?
We can take mark of the... He almost took mark of the year in the pre-season.
3 times. And then he kicked the best goal I saw all weekend, which was got the ball halfway down the wing, bounced, looked behind him, didn't matter who it was, took him on, kicked it from 55. So he's on one wing. They've got Jack Hutchinson on the other wing, which I thought he was a forward when he got recruited to the club, but he looked good. Correct. And Liam Baker, I don't know if he's had enough attention over here. It's a little bit like good players over here people don't know about. I think over here people think, Liam Baker, is he good? He's been a very good player for a long time.
Yeah.
And he was as advertised. He was probably the West Coast best. Strong, hard, good kick, accumulator across back flank. So lots of positive signs, Skeeter, but we will see where that goes. Yes, it is. Last one I wanted to finish this off on, Skeet. I know I told you this was going to be a 30-minute, but I think we try and get into it. Just a bit of an update on Chris Scott and the investigation over there, Skeet, if I can give you that. This is from AFL Chief Andrew Dillon. Scott, and I quote, his relationship with Morris Finance and Geelong has been looked at, and it was in the realms of the soft cap. It's my understanding Scott's deal will remain the same, but a part of the contract has been proportioned to the soft cap for the club football department spending. So that back half was Cleary. So Chris Scott's investigation is concluded. At first, I saw the AFL wasn't going to release any conclusions, which I just thought was absolutely bizarre. It seems to me by some of these newsbreakers around town that yes, it's concluded. Some of the deal will go into the soft cap and some will remain out. To me, that means that the deal was not correct. That means that they found that it should have been sitting in the soft cap, right? So the soft cap, I think clubs have got $7.7 million in their football department soft cap spend that they can spend on coaches, on physios, on the football department. Right? And you can do whatever you like. If you want to go and pay a head coach $7.6 million, you got $100,000 to spend. That's why it's a little bit contentious, because if Chris Scott goes and gets $1 million deal somewhere else and he can get paid $100,000 in the soft cap and $1 million somewhere else, it means you can add a fair bit more for your football department. So the fact that some of it's coming into the soft cap means it wasn't correct. I don't know why that's not being reported that way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not all good, nothing to see here, because they've breached it, clearly. They're putting it in the soft cap, and it wasn't there in the first place. It was a soft cap breach. Yes?
No, I agree. I think the biggest story out of Geelong is that Bailey Smith now has to turn his headband the other inside out because Nike was showing. See, I'm more simple.
Maybe you should wear a headband.
Maybe I was about to say, did you ever wear a headband?
I actually did.
I thought you did. I was going to say
when my hair was longer.
So what was is that just the sweat? Or
that was to keep my hair moist.
Yeah.
But there's no need in the world for a bloody Andre Agassi sweatband.
I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was just completely going. You just knew he was going to get pulled up for that. I thought it was great.
Camden McIntosh had one. He's the baldest bloke in the world with me. Did you see him on the weekend?
No, I didn't.
Camden McIntosh had one just as thick as Bailey's.
Did he have any little insignia?
No, he did not. Just a bald
he played
head.
Well,
just a bald head like you and I.
Bailey
you're trying your best. Will Schofield, Mark Reddings, Shout FootyCast. Skeeter, you'll be happy to know that feedback is back on our channels. So
extraordinary.
You can get in touch with us at FootyCast at backchatstudios.com.au. Send us an email. We love to get them. And Skeeter will spend his weekends reading through them. You can hit us on socials at Shelter FootyCast on Instagram. And you can also comment on the YouTube in the comments if you want to get something across to us, Skeet. I promise there's no stitch-ups coming. Grant.
We get questions already, have we?
Grant on YouTube says, didn't realise how much I've been missing this. So good having... Oh, there's a stitch-up. So good having Joe Biden back on my screen. Sorry, I thought there was no stitch-up. It's been nice. He's saying that in a nice way. He's just saying that it's good to see you.
Joe was cooked. Hopefully I'm not cooked. And so's the other bloke, by the way. He's completely cooked.
What do you reckon Joe Biden look like with black hair?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I haven't thought of that, but thank you for
just have a look at your screens right now, ladies and gentlemen. Most definitely, there should be a men's mental health round. This is us from Monday, Skeeter. I love Pride round, Indigenous round, etc. Idiots will say keep politics out of sport, but they aren't political issues. They are issues in social issues, and sport can be a very powerful tool to spread awareness and raise it for these issues. So. Likes the Pride round, Indigenous round, but wants a mental health round. I would sit the same as Paul. So I hope AFL introduces a men's mental health round immediately. I think that would sit pretty nicely. Skeeter, happy with that?
Agree.
And this is from Nev. I have worked in counselling of young people for 14 years. What's evident is guys lose their way post-career. During playing, they have a function and routine and structure. If that safety net is gone, it leaves a big hole in their lives. Skeeter is right. Men need that purpose going to work each day.
I think it's true, irrespective of whether you're a footballer or not. And I know it's, we all dream of winning lotto and not working again, which is, we also, if you won Powerball and won that, you think, geez, I'm not going back to work. But I think for our well-being, I know it sounds really, easy to say, but I think you need some purpose to keep you ticking along.
You just tighten up the spreadsheet a little bit. Like if you won 20 mil, all right,
I'd be having a Cuban cigar or doing something. I'd be the champagne. I'd lose the plot for a couple of months. So would you?
Did I hear maybe that you on the move from a property perspective?
No, not yet. But who knows?
You're looking for a new house.
I don't have that choice. I'm being told by the leader of the opposition that I'm on the move, apparently. So I'll just have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, the life after footy chat. I think you're right. It extends. It's not life after footy. It's
life. It's just
life without purpose, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether that's moving industry, you're sacked, you finished school, and you don't know whether to study or
totally
work experience. Like if you don't have the purpose,
and also the tools to deal with those setbacks or a bit of resilience. Yeah, it's a good point made by our correspondent
Nev on YouTube, and that is us done and dusted, Skeeter. Lucky we've both got mates like each other to talk shit about, because God, I don't know what you'd do without me, Skate.
No, I think I'd survive, but I have worked out. Just want to say my daughter's turned 24 tomorrow, so happy birthday to the twins. And I have found, all those shows on Fox that they're going to be trotted out over the next few months. I reckon there's a show that you'd fit in perfectly, not on Fox. I reckon you'd be a handy addition to maths. I think you'd fit on beautifully on maths. Just some of the crap that comes out of your mouth and some of the way you go about things, I reckon you'd be one of the great characters on maths.
You'd be happy to know I've never watched an episode of maths, and our audience would be happy to know you never miss one.
Oh, no, I watch it with the girls because it's a family bonding affair. It makes me feel, because they're freaks, make me feel like I'm normal.
They're freaks. I don't understand the concept. Why would I be good? Because I'm an idiot. Well, is that right?
You're prepared to say stuff and you record your whole life on phones that you'd love the fact that, the camera's in the bedroom with you in the morning, it's in there in the toilet. You'd love all that. So I just reckon you'd fit in beautifully.
Okay.
You probably have to tell Alex that you're going on a first, but
You absolute yeah, I wouldn't be along the right. June Rats will get your email out on Monday, mate. Thanks for getting in touch. A little bit of a late entry there, but we'll read it on Monday. Skeeter, sign up to the footy tipping.
We'll do that.
Mate, when you're sitting on your couch, I've got two things for you to do. Right? Number one, right? Sign up as a patron on Shelter. I want you to do this.
Yeah, I'll try that. Right?
Because Saturday Night Waffle, we've got Channel 7's local coverage, we've got 6PR's Face of Wildwater Sport, we've got commission work, we're writing articles for people. I reckon you got the money to enter the tipping comp, so I'd like you to do that, number one.
Yeah, okay.
So shelterfootycast.com.au, sign up as a patron.
Yeah.
Right, for weekly prizes and a big end of year prize, $1,000 cash minimum, Busselton experience. Number 2, what I'd like you to do, because I know yesterday you had a little bit of trouble out the front parking.
No, I didn't have trouble parking. I had trouble paying for it.
So you can play. You came storming in, going, where the F do you pay for the parking?
I'm just got to try and find a credit card, because normally most places you can just put a credit card next to it.
So you need to download the Easy Park app. Every place in Perth you can go Easy Park, wind the wheel, press pay. Can you do those 2 things for me? Because you were carrying on that this is 2025. I shouldn't need to be carrying coins around with me to be putting into parking meters, didn't you?
Why can't you use your credit card? Anyway, that's just most places do. Anyway,
sign up to the tipping and sign up for parking. See if you can function in life as an adult with technology. Mark Reddings, Will Schofield, Shelter FootyCast. You can have the last word, Channel 7.
Nah, just nice to be with you, and Fox and 7 will coexist beautifully this year.